So one of the questions, I'm going to ask you guys, for one, is what keeps you motivated as a breeder? What keeps you motivated as a pet parent? A guy sent me a great message the other day. I'm about to get out here and feed these dogs in a second, but I want to read this to you. And one, as always, Tifa here with Fit Bully TV. Shout out to all those people trying to do better. But he sent a message that was well composed. It says, I hope you could one day create a segment on how everyday working dog parents who feel there just isn't enough time in a day could do a 5 to 10 step regimen a day, or 5 to 10 step a day regimen is there in their taking proper care of their dogs. I need that. I would of course love you doing that. Your lessons, believe it or not, mostly are catered towards the inspiring dog breeders who is willing to dedicate his time towards his objective. But we want to just be great dog parents. I love what you do. This isn't criticism. This is a request and an effort to better myself through your teachings. Respect. Take care of your dogs. That's a 53-year-old guy. He's a blast. I'll tell you, one night I was out there getting some food ready and he FaceTimed me and I answered. I was sitting down next to the oven and he says, oh man, you answered. He was so excited. And it's those little moments there where you say, absolutely, man. What can I do for you? As I said before, you want to message me on Instagram if you want me to reply to anything. Mind you, there's a lot of things that I would encourage you to do naturally. And that's just get in here and spend a bunch of time. But we all could do better. There's a lot of people who aren't breeding with intent. So first question is, what motivates you to do what you're doing? For me, anything I do is to bring the best out of everything. And in this case, I want to show you something. We've got the potty powder, which we will bring to life at some point in time. I switched the sides last night, and as you see, they wrecked this. And I remember why I moved this over there. Because where I'm laying is humming. I'm talking humming. You get about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and they get to loading that booger up. You see that right there? That's all this morning. So not only is the powder working, and they're using the bathroom here too, but they're wrecking this. And I have to deal with the consequences of their doo-dooing. But let's talk about motivation real quick. If you're looking for a pet, and American Bully specifically, understand that bullies have been bred one or two ways. Mastiffs are rooted in bulldog. Bulldogs are bulldogs. So if you got two forms of dogs that are rooted in bulldogs, because most people on the Mastiff side want to raise the height and keep the bone, then you go, and the bone meaning, hey, I want that thickness, but then you get that droopy, sad looking face. They are more defensive dogs. They're more reserved. They were put in places to do what? To protect, meaning the Mastiff. A Mastiff also could hold on to somebody. Remember in that movie, The Sandlot? A Mastiff could hold onto an arm because of that gap and still breathe. You know how a dog that has a narrow thigh, they get to hold the ball in their mouth and they struggle to breathe. The Mastiff could hold you all day. That's what it is. That's what one of the things they designed. That joker get a hold of you, it'd be here all day and breathe just fine if it was given that task. But it's not going to go out and get you. If you have a prey-driven dog, like these pups here, we're literally potentially going to do a live today, or at some point, and it's going to showcase. I'm going to put one thing in here at a time, so you can see how each dog investigates what is perceived an opportunity as it enters their space. And then I'll do it with Maya's pups. People say, hey, what's the big difference between Maya and Zara's pup? What keeps them unmotivated? Maya's not a motivated dog, not a motivating dog. She has the bulldog traits, no disrespect to bulldog people. There are bulldogs who are super driven and who will get out there and get after it. In my experience though, a bulldog oftentimes is not prey driven. Doesn't mean you can't take it to hunt. Back in the day, it was a different dog. Even 20 years ago, it was a different dog. Nowadays, I don't know what y'all doing to that dog. And kind of the same things happening to the American Bully. But my motivation here is to make sure, for one, you guys have the tools you need to properly take care of your dogs. For two, is to make sure that our dogs leave our possession, leave our home, leave our whelping boxes and whelping pen, leave our efforts, go to your house, and you have basically the best opportunity to make sure you and the dog are successful, because we also give you a perspective, a step-by-step on feeding, training, teaching, communicating, loving, living, existing. And if you bought a dog from us, you beyond a reasonable doubt have seen a great deal of our process. Because we have nothing to hide it, but we do have some things that we're studying, which means we have to protect it. And not from you guys, but we're trying to make sure that we can manage it over the next few years. When you are looking for a good breeder, make sure that they too are putting their best effort into the dog's development. Breeding dogs is easy. It's like two people having kids for no reason. Not every kids that are here. But two depending on who the two people are, don't mean they should have kids. Some folks shouldn't be parents, and you know that. You know that. We all know that. You meet a kid who suffers and struggles. I come from a background that of suffering. I understand the suffering. Therefore, I would never personally bring a child into this world. Not that it would suffer because of me, but because I know what it means to grow up and be a product of an environment of carelessness. Because two people weren't prepared to bring a child into this world. Black Ice does a good... He has a line in the poem. He says, what does he say? When two parents bring a child into this world basically without a plan, the child grows up without order. And order is everything to a degree. It's like you want disorderly, orderly conduct. It's crazy. Because you want a kid to know who he is, but you also want him to have a sense of self, so he's got the will to go out and achieve anything and not be told he can't do anything. But he needs the order so he can properly believe in himself. And part of you guys supporting what we're doing is because you believe in what we're doing. We're showing it. I don't know too many people that have gone down this rabbit hole of what we do, and I don't know that many people will. What I do know is that they're going to try to emulate, imitate, and even more importantly, take steps to work on being great. Hopefully they've learned something. Hopefully you've learned something. What motivates you to get a dog? Don't do it because of impulse. What motivates breeders or motivates a breeder to breed a dog? If they don't have a good answer outside of they just breeding dogs, don't buy a dog from them. If you're getting a dog and you feel compelled to ask me questions, which is fine, then that also shows a little bit, just a little bit, that the person you got a dog from you didn't trust. And it's hard for me to buy anything from a used car salesman. Normally the other salesmen, they work with you a little bit more. They're a little bit more communicative, especially if it comes from a family-owned dealership. They want you to feel like your family. Isn't that crazy? You go get something from a used carsman, they trying to get you in and out, run your credit, I don't care what it is, they just need to sell. A lot of people are sitting on dogs right now because their intentions are off. And I hate to even have to do these videos, but I wake up to the messages. I wake up to the messages of frustration, of uncertainty, of trying to figure it out. And in my head, I go, why don't you just ask the person you bought a dog from? But they can't because they don't know nothing. Stay tuned, take care of your dogs. We'll talk more. Keep in mind, make sure you're asking the right questions. What motivated you to become a breeder? And even more importantly, what motivates you to take care of a dog?